When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature.
Nothing.
Same thing as minister.
Same
Kill the
thing.
flesh, how to finish them.
But
These commandments, they'll sustain you.
it's the
I'm
same.
surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected. From
Exactly.
seen unseen dangers. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Service, same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected. From seen unseen dangers. I wake up and say me a prayer. Brush my teeth, babe, then I throw on some threads. Wash my face, grab a cup, pour me some yum. On my backpack, then I'm off to the bread. I eat these devils for breakfast. Gotta be careful. Whole lot of blood being shed in the street.
Whole lot of
Running so wicked, I weep for the living. I drop a free tree for the dead. All my white friends in my pocket, or either they loading onto this black card that I swipe. Say every time that I drop it, the verses be hitting more harder than problems of life. Rich, I collected 2 pennies from every person that willingly gave me advice. Being afraid can't exist in my spirit. I'm fearing no man but the Father in Christ. I put in work with the brothers. We stood on them corners from 10 to like 9 the same night. Teaching our people the gospel, equipped with a camera, some posters, some speakers, and mic. Every time that I see mama, she telling me, son, you gotta walk in the light.
You gotta walk in the
Don't
light.
let her heaven keep feeding my spirit, and I wanna low, not a slide. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's
I get that low,
big,
baby.
not miniature. Service, same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected. From seen and unseen dangers. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Service, same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected. From seen and unseen dangers. When I tell you I'm an Israelite, tribe of Judah, don't you take it personal. Plead the blood on these demons, purging them. Don't entertain Jezebels, we be curving them. Ay, I got a ribbon, she virtuous. In person, this blue life ain't virtual.
Yes.
I can't forget when I heard the truth. I got cut with that word, it got surgical. Conviction can lead to repentance. I pray these verses encourage you. We repented, now we on the vertical. Judah rise and see Isaiah 32. Big business, nothing minuscule. I picked up that pen back in middle school. Got your light and take heed who you listen to. Watch your mouth and your ears and your vision too. Hashatan and Shah. Anyone finish you with Mortal Kombat, this war is gird your loins up and follow the jewel. Messiah is coming, that's scriptural. You gotta starve your flesh. The real war ain't even started yet. This look like a setup for a second exodus. I'm trying to be where the water at. Let's get it. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Service, same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected. From seen and unseen dangers. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Service, same thing as minister.
Thank you.
Flesh, how to finish them. These commandments that sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected. Seen and unseen dangers.
Welcome to the Hebrew state of being. I am your humble servant and host for tonight. In a biblical sense, I am Kayel. All praises to the Most High. In the building, I got my red, my butter pecan, Miss Artist 28. Yes, my Esther, and I got my youngin' Bella Song in there getting ready for school tomorrow. All praises into the Most High, man. Welcome in. Look, we have a very, I think, overdue lesson. And that's hard for me to say because I think I've done just about everything in the last 6 years of doing this show. But though I may have touched upon it, I've never directly addressed the lifestyle of royalty. As the song from Paisley says, being an Israelite is big business. We understand what we are told in scripture based on fearing the Most High, the sins we've dealt with, the prophecies that we're going through. But the royal lifestyle of us, isn't spoken about much. We hear, I see Brother Yawan is in the building, all praises, my brother. We hear so much about the fall, so much about what we've done, and much of that has to be because we have to. People have forgotten what we've done and they don't know why we're in the situations that we're in. So you have to express what our ancestors did and what we're still doing that our ancestors did that got us in this very captivity. But tonight, we're going to focus on, let's say there was no adversary, there was no oppression. How would we live? How would Yasharal, Yehudah, the tents, the towns, the nation, how would that look? What is our everyday lifestyle? My brother Ricardo likes to always use the terminology, what's the boots on the ground? I see my beautiful wife is in the building. What's the boots on the ground? We are, if you don't know, we have been raised in a Thunderdome type of scenario. Dog eat dog, only the strong survive. You better get it how you live. That is how we are raised here in North America, the United States. Competition reigns. That's not the case in all nations. I was watching this documentary today on this southeastern Southeastern Asian nation, right in between Malaysia and Indonesia. They are a town that sits on the water. They're no bigger than Louisiana. They came out of British rule, right? And inside the British rule, their kingdoms were kept. Who they were as a people was still known, and their kingship was able to cut a deal where they started getting the rights, the oil rights that were right off of their shore, that these other nations were dwelling for. To this day, this nation that's right in between Malaysia and Indonesia, called Brunei, Brunei, has the richest man in the world with $18 billion as their dictator, as their king. No one pays for health care there or education. They have a thriving economy. By all means, they're very happy. They follow the Islamic law, is their Sharia law that they just instituted. But I bring up this nation that's in present day that still has their king, their royal family, similar to David and our royal family, right? Of having a kingdom and producing something from our kingdom that brings wealth unto us. That's what Judah did at one time. Before we were scattered, the lifestyle of the royalty of us as a people, we were agriculturalists. I don't know if anyone has explained that clearly to you. Though we had a city with commerce and we did much trade, we as a people, our production was in agriculture, the land. Which is why in scripture you see that the Most High and our relationship with the land is very, very important. It's highlighted many times. We as a people lived off of the land, we cultivated the land, and we harvested, and then we sent it and traded amongst other nations. It made us extremely wealthy. We were known, I see my son is in the building. We as a people were known as merchants. that we sold the goods of our fields and the things that our wives created. We had multiple wives that created or produced something, and we sold those things to market. We harvested our fields with our kids, and that is how we built our wealth. I think I needed to explain to you who we are as a people, not what we have been morphed into, not what we have amalgamated to, but what the Most High had set us out to be. What is the royal lifestyle of Yehudah, of Yasharal? It does not look like the world and the lives and the communities that we have presently. We were agriculturalists. Our wives produced things. We sold that as the men, as merchants, as well as being agriculturalists and working our fields. Some were husbandry, where they dealt with cattle, the sheep, the oxen of the day. This is how we live royal. We did not have a king in the beginning. Our people requested a king because we thought that we would get even richer because we saw the monarchs and the kings around us. But the Most High said that we were supposed to only adhere unto him. Oh, now, yes, because we asked for this, we got that, and we got many corrupt kings, and we started to look like the world. The kings did not follow the Most High. The kings did not understand that the deal was between the Most High and them to rule the Most High's people. I'm going to say again, we have 42 kings between Yasharal and Yehudah, and a female king. Made 43 kings and queens that we had over our nation. We had a nation, y'all. I know they try to act as though we did not have a nation, that we did not have commerce, that we were not rich, that we did not live in a royal manner. Yes, only the Most High, not the false idols, son. Absolutely. I'm saying this slow, and my son and my wife and Brother Yuan and people that watch us, this may be a slow part of the lesson, but please bear with me because many of our people that don't know what our royalty is, what our lifestyle is, how did we get along? We live by one law, the Most High's law. We had no king. We produced from the land. We had an intimate relationship with the land where we gave a Sabbath to the land, where the 7th year we did not till the land. We had multiple wives that produced things. The men were the agriculturalists, the sons in the field, the husbandry with the cattle. We sold amongst each other. We had our own government based upon the law of Exodus chapter 20. I see J. Dot is in the building. Humble, my brother, all praises. This is what Yehudah is. And many of us as Hebrews are trying to live this lifestyle where we're not understanding that where our riches come from. So we find ourselves mingled in this world to get the riches out of this world so that we can provide for our families. We don't realize what the actual plan was for us. So when you read our scripture, the Most High says, I'm going to break the yoke of your oppressors that have been eating off of you via your taxes, via your hard work, via your free labor of slavery. Most High says, I'm going to break that yoke, whereas you will be able to rebuild on top of the heap of the people that I'm going to destroy that have been oppressing you. I don't know if you know what that translation means. That means that the government, I see Alana is in the building. That means that the government, the system, everything that you are acclimated to, the Most High has to destroy in order for you to be lifted up. He never said that he was going to make you president of a nation. He didn't say he was going to make you a state representative or a senator or a mayor in the beast system. The Most High never stated that. The Most High has stated he had a system and a lifestyle and a royalty in which we were supposed to live by as sovereign, as our own men and women of our own community, and selling to the rest of the world what we produce. If you understand who we are, the basketball players, the football players, the entertainers, the rappers, the actors, if you understand that commerce inside the people that we would sell to the rest of the world, then you would understand the wealth that we would have. The engineers, the doctors, the people that have been oppressed have fought extremely hard before the 60s and civil rights, and after that, to not only assimilate, but to be allowed to thrive in this nation without any shackles. But we all know that that hasn't happened with any type of true efficacy of equality. But in our royal state and who we are supposed to be, we are producers, we are entrepreneurs, we are rich because of what we can produce out of our sheer spirit. I don't know if you understand that. I hope that I relayed that. But we're going to now allow the Most High's word to back that up, and better yet, not back it up. I just paraphrased these words. I see Michael is in the building. I just paraphrased these words. And we're going to let the Most High speak them. So we're going to start off in Genesis chapter 49. Now, our verse is really verse 10, but we're going to start off with verse 1 just because of how it starts off. And it says, and Jacob, that would be Yehudah and Yasharal as one. It says, and Jacob called his sons and said, come together, that I may tell you what is to befall you in days to come. So in this Genesis chapter 49, Jacob, the father of the 12 tribes that became the northern and the southern tribes, Yasharal and Yehudah, Israel and Judah, the father of that said, brought all of his kids and said, let me tell you what's going to befall of you in the future. Kind of what we call a goodwill, a will and testimony, right? So he says, verse 3, Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might, and first fruit, my vigor, exceeding in rank and exceeding in honor, unstable as water. Meaning that for honor, Reuben would lose his mind and not keep the law. That meant unstable. We must understand that stability is the law. And he says, unstable as water, you shall exceed no longer. For when you mounted your father's bed and brought disgrace my couch, he mounted. Simeon and Levi are a pair. Their weapons are tools of lawlessness. This is a father speaking about his children and what's going to befall them because of their DNA disposition. I'm going to explain that. DNA disposition, meaning that you have a lot of traits of your daddy and of your mama, whether you live with your mama and daddy or not. So this is from the beginning of his lineage. He's telling you about these particular tribes and what befall them. Simeon and Levi, who were the priests, he says their weapons, and the Levites were supposed to keep the law. But the Most High says their weapon is how they manipulate the law. He says, let not my person be included in their counsel. So the Most High says, don't let, Jacob is saying, don't let what he is be in the council. Don't let Levi or Simeon speak for him. Let not my being be counted in their assembly. For when angry they slay men. So Levi, the priest, and Simeon, known to kill men in disputes. And when pleased, they maim oxen. Cursed be their anger so fierce and their wrath so relentless. I will divide them in Jacob, scatter them in Yasharal. So this Levi and Simeon tribes, the Most High through Jacob has let them know that they're going to be scattered inside of all the 12 tribes, so they would never come together enough to cause the mischief. And Reuben, the oldest, who was supposed to be the leader, had to forego his crown unto Ephraim. Joseph, one of Joseph's twin children, which was Manasseh and Ephraim. And Joseph was one of the 12 sons and brothers, right? So it says, cursed be the anger so fierce and their wraths so relentless. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Yasharal. O Yehudah, your brothers shall praise your hand. Shall praise. Your hand shall be on the neck of your foes. On the nape of your foes. Your father's sons shall bow low to you. Yehudah is a lion's whelp. On prey, my son, have you grown? So Judah, he's saying, we grow on attacking and taking over. Conquerors. And we're lions, right? So he says, oh son, you have grown. He crouches, lies down like a lion, like the king of beasts. Who dare rouse him? We all understand that the entire United States government created through J. Edgar Hoover an anti-Messiah concept, an anointed leader of Yehudah to come together in this nation and rally the people here. COINTELPRO in the 60s, Jerome Smith here of Tambourine and Fan, you must understand that this entire nation and its laws are built to keep you in a position. Verse 10 is what we read this for. It says, the scepter shall not depart from Yehudah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, so that tribute shall come to him, and homage of people be his. So this Yehudah, this Judah, the Most High has given through Joseph a charge and a challenge, and been given a royal vestige, which is the lion, to symbolize that his roar cannot be taken down and that he is forever royal, forever in kingship, as long as we are the law providers that Levi was supposed to be, and that leadership that Reuben was supposed to have. Let's go to Ezekiel 37. Ezekiel 37, we're reading verses 1 through 10, and it says, the hand of the Most High came upon me. He took me out by the Spirit of the Most High and set me down in the valley. How does the Most High speak to you? Through your spirit. If your vessel, which holds your spirit, your vessel being your flesh, is corrupt and dirty, does it hear the Most High? That doesn't mean the Most High isn't speaking to the vessel, but the vessel can't hear. It's the fat of the pork that seems the vibrations can't make its way through. When the Most High is going to speak to you now and in the future, it's going to be directly to you, to your spirit. He says here in verse 1 of chapter 37, Ezekiel, it was full of bones. He led me all around. He led me all around them. Talking about the bones, right? The Most High came and took him by the Spirit and set him down in a valley, and the valley was full of bones. And he led me all around them. There were very many of them spread over the valley, and they were very dry. He said to me, O mortal, can these bones live again? I replied, O Most High, only you know. And he said to me, prophesy over these bones and say to them, O dry bones, hear the word of the Most High. So this is an extreme vision for an example of the future, that the people would be as dry as bones, not dead people with flesh, still blood coming out of them. No. Far gone. People that are far past being a people. They are now decayed to just their bones. No sinews, no muscle, no blood, no brain, no eyes, no ears to hear. Do you get it? That when the Most High would touch upon the royal people, though they are now as wretched as bones and don't know who they are. Most High said he would spread Simeon and Levi throughout all of the tribes. They wouldn't even be known. The Most High said he would scatter us against the four corners of the earth. He didn't say that we were all people, but that we will be a people inside of other peoples. So you'll never hear me say that all the indigenous here are Hebrew. Never. There are pockets, and they were here. But were they all the Indians, Aboriginal? Were they all the South Americans? All the Caribbean? No. We were scattered and interwoven into all nations, four corners of the earth. It's who resonates, who hears this, who sees this, who are the dry bones mixed in with other nations and blood scattered in other nations. Who will hear? Who can hear? It says, thus says the Most High. Verse 4. And he said to me, prophesy over these bones and say to them, O dry bones, hear the word of the Most High. Will you hear the words of the Most High tonight as we speak them about you having a royal lifestyle and you understanding that you have to live this lifestyle within this captivity, that you have to not look like the rest of this world. If you look like the rest of the world, then you cannot be living up to your royalty. It says, verse 5, thus says the Most High to the bones, Shaddai to these bones, I will cause breath to enter you, and you shall live again. I will lay sinews upon you to cover you with flesh and form skin upon you, and cover you with flesh and form skin over you. And I will put breath into you, and you shall live again, and you shall know that I am the Most High. Verse 7, prophesy as I had been commanded. I prophesied as I had been commanded. And while I was prophesying, suddenly there was a sound, a rattling, and the bones came together, bone to matching bone. I looked, and there were sinews on them, and the flesh had grown, and the skins had formed over them, but there was no breath in them. There's going to be a process of us coming together. The bones may be rattling right now. We may just be at the part of getting sinews upon us. We surely don't have skin yet. We surely don't have the breath yet. Here in verse 9 it says, then he said to me, prophesy to the breath. Prophesy, O mortal man. Say to the breath or the wind, thus says the Most High Creator, come, O breath, from the four winds, and breathe into these sinews that they may live again. That's verse 9. The Most High, if you understand these words that's being said, the Most High is explaining of how destitute we will be as a people and how he will bring us together piece by piece, slowly. And it's not going to come from man. It's going to come from the four winds. One man is prophesied, but nobody's following Ezekiel. Nobody's praising Ezekiel. Nobody got Ezekiel pieces on. The winds are going to give breath, life to us. So your spirit is what's going to lead you. If you're listening to the Most High, these words are resonating with you. Understand that they got more questions than they have answers in this world, and they're going to try and use their confusing questions to dispel your royalty, your lineage, your heritage. Verse 10, I prophesied as he commanded me. The breath entered them, and they came to light and stood up on their feet, a vast multitude. Not the whole world, a vast multitude. Are you going to be a part of that multitude that hears? Let's go to Zechariah 12. Zechariah 12, verse 7. It says, the Most High will give victory to the tents of Yehudah first. Now, we understand that Reuben gave his leadership or his scepter as the number one in the family because of what he did to his father's couch and his father's bed. Jacob's bed, that he gave it to Ephraim. But yet here, the Most High is clear on Yehudah and its royalty and his position. I don't want to read this, and some of my well-read Hebrews out there will be able to say, well, Reuben was given the power and the elder was given unto Ephraim. But no, it is Judah. Judah first will have the victory in his tents, so that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem may not be too great for Yehudah. In that day, the Most High will shield the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and the feeblest of them shall be in that day like David, and the house of David like a divine being, like an angel of the Most High at their head. Oh, yes. So we not only have Ezekiel speaking of how these dry bones, the royalty of us are going to be raised again. But the Most High says that the victory is going to come unto Yehudah's tents first. Jeremiah speaks of the Jacob's trouble as the yoke is going to be taken off of our necks, and we're going to build, and that the leaders of our community are going to come from within our community. The one thing I saw in this nation of Brunei is that they lived by their beliefs, not by words. See, in America, they call it beliefs, but then they have laws that go the opposite. Their laws match their belief system. And I just thought how beautiful it was. Beautiful. To have a nation of royalty that lived royal. Even though they weren't a royal family, each and every person lived as a royal. Each and every person had a degree of their food and the quality of life. This is what is due unto us. And how are you going to get it? You got to choose it. I'm not saying that you're going to have a job that's going to provide steaks and lamb every day. That's going to provide large houses. No. It's a lifestyle. It's a choice that you make every day. It's your sacrifices. And then once you start sacrificing, you won't see the pig constantly coming to you. When you start saying, I no longer want the pig, you will find other opportunities to eat other things. That's with everything. with the job, with the money, with the people that you deal with. It's the same as the pig. When you stop craving the pig, when you start sacrificing your desires for the pig, you will find other opportunities for great food. You'll find other opportunities to learn other things. It will start to come to you. It will be like a veil is taken from over your face. You have to start choosing to live royal. You must start hearing, start breathing in that breath, that prophesied wind, that you are going to rise again. Let's go to Hosea. Hosea chapter 1. Verse 7. Hosea chapter 1, verse 7. And it reads, but I will accept the house of Yehudah, and I will give them victory through the Most High, their Creator. I will not give them victory with bow and sword and battle by horse and rider. So the Most High is prophesying unto us that we will have victory, but it will not come by the bow. It will not come through war. So how are we going to get the victory? How are we going to be this great class of people? You're surely not telling me, like the Christians said, to turn the other cheek. Not at all. Nor am I telling you to go and get arms. I'm telling you start following the law. I'm telling you be an example of the law. And you will see the Most High move things for your favor in manners that you can never imagine. You cannot dictate the Most High's hand and how he's going to deal with you in your life. How you're going to be rich, how you're going to be happy, how you're going to have children. That's not your position. Your only concern is to stay focused on the law and living a royal life. Royal life is through a royal law. A royal life is through a royal law. It's no other way. Here it says it clearly. I will accept the house of Yehudah, and I will give them victory through the Most High. Not victory through their sword, through their bows, not through their fighting, not through their tongues, not through their conniving, not through any of that. Through your righteousness, through your decision making to choose royalty in the way that you speak, in the way that you eat, in the way that you crap, in the way that you build, in the way that you make money. Righteous. And as the Most High move those ticks off of your body that you are so accustomed to having, that you probably love some of them ticks that's been sucking the blood out of you. But as the Most High removes those ticks, you remove your stress. He removes your blockages of success, of royalty. What is the royal lifestyle of Yasharal and Yehudah? It is the royal law. It is the choice. It is the sacrifices we make. That is what makes us royal. Verse 8. And weaning Lo Rama, so conceived and bore a son. Her name was Lo Rahama. She conceived and bore a son. Then he said, name him Lo Amani, for you are not my people, and I will not be your creator. This is in Hosea. This is the Most High using a woman and using the Hosea to name his child what the Most High has now declared. He has decreed we're not his people. Lo Amini is what that means. Lo, L-O-A-M-M-I, Lo Amai. No N, I was pronouncing it with an N. But Lo Amai means you are not my people, and I will not be your creator. We're going to go Hosea chapter 2, verse 1. Right. Yeah. The number of the people of Yasharal shall be like that of the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or counted. And instead of being told, you are not my people, they shall be called children of the living Creator. The people of Yehudah and the people of Yasharal shall assemble together and appoint one head over them, and they shall rise from the ground. For marvelous shall be the day of Jezreel. That's Armageddon. Look, Jezreel goes back to Megiddo. Megiddo is translated into Mageddon. The Most High says that when he breaks the yoke of these nations and destroy these nations, we will choose from amongst us, from the ones that's been following the law, that chose the Most High before it was popular, that didn't have to see something crack out the sky to choose the Most High and start sacrificing their flesh and their fleshly desires of this world. They chose the Most High. They chose him now. Stand on, like they said now, it's a new thing. Stand on business. What business are you standing on? I'm not standing on the business of this world. I'm standing on the business of the Most High, to be a prophet and a priest and a warrior in his army, to be a part of his host. Let's go to Jeremiah 33. Jeremiah 33, verse 24. Verse 24, and it reads, you see what this people said? You see what this people said. The two families which the Most High chose have now been rejected by him. Thus, they despise my people and regard them as no longer a nation. That's where we are today. Hated by all and believe that we are not the children anymore, and that the Most High has turned his head upon us, so that we are, as they Christians have tried to lie and say that we were the children of Ham, and therefore that's why we are in slavery, as if the judgment of Ham said that we would be slaves, that the Hamites would be slaves unto them, which it did not. It said that Ham would be the slave of his brothers, not of others. They forget that part as they try to tell you as a Christian that you were Hamites, but you know, most Christians don't read their own scripture to even know that it's impossible for you to be the curse of Ham, since Ham was supposed to work for Shem and Japheth, and that's not the Neanderthal. That is not them. So, as we read this 24, the Most High is expressing where we are now. Jeremiah is saying what the rest of the nations have said and known about us. Let's go to Malachi chapter 3. Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. And it reads, we're just going to start with verse 5. It says, but I will step forward to contend against you, and I will act as a relentless accuser against those who have no fear of me. So when you choose the gods of this captive land that we're in, you choose any other deity that you want to call a god, the Most High says you have turned against him and have no fear of him. So he's going to be a relentless accuser of you until you change your ways. He says, who practice sorcery, who commits adultery, who swear falsely, who cheats laborers of their hire, that means of their money, and who subvert the cause of the widow, orphan, and stranger, said the Most High of hosts. For I am the Most High. I have not changed, and you are the children of Jacob, and you have not ceased to be. From the very days of your fathers, you have turned away from me, from my laws, and have not observed them. Turn back to me, and I will turn back to you, says the Most High of hosts. But you ask, how shall we turn back? Ought man defraud the Most High? Yet you are defrauding me. You ask, how have we been defrauding you? In tithe and contribution, you are suffering under a curse. Yet you go on defrauding me, the whole nation of you. Most High says simply come back to the law, and he's still here. If you're following the law, then you are living a royal life. In the times of David, were there tragedies that happened? Yes. In the times when we ruled, were there unfortunate things that happened? Yes. Doesn't mean that the quality of life and the royal way in which we live wasn't great. So poverty doesn't mean, or escaping poverty doesn't mean that you have no problems in life, that you don't come across obstacles or challenges that raise your skill level, raise your love with each other and your family. Going through obstacles together in a family is a building of bonds with your family. That's why family matters more than the outside person, because of the things that you and your family have gone through together and overcome together. If you have no problems, then you can't overcome. And if you can't overcome it, maybe you don't have the bonds that you need. Nope, not at all, my friend in Jamaica. No. Christ is a title. So first of all, Christ means anointed. And no, he would not. So all of we have 43 kings and one queen over Yasharal and Yehudah. And yes, some were good and some were bad. Unfortunately, many of them were horrible. So Christ would be more along the line of an Isaiah. Christ would be more along the line of a Jeremiah and Ezekiel. The prophets is basically what I'm stating. So the Christ-like people are the ones that the Most High has spoken through, and that's his prophets. So let's go to our next one, right? Our next scripture is Nehemiah. Nehemiah chapter 8. Verse 1. We'll start off with verse 1 because we want to have an understanding, right? Only the lawgivers, right? Only the lawgivers. In Isaiah 43, why don't you put the exact verse that you're speaking in reference to in Isaiah 53, and I would definitely answer who he's talking to. So in Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 1, it says, when the 7th month arrived, is the Israelites being in their towns, the entire people assembled as one man in the square before the water gate. Now understand, in Nehemiah, this is after Cyrus has allowed us to come and given a decree for us to come back and rebuild the temple. This is after we've been taken off by Nebuchadnezzar. This is after we've been dispersed, right? Cyrus comes into power and allows us to come back and build. And it says, and they asked Ezra, the scribe, to bring the scroll of the teaching of Moshe, with which the Most High had charged Yasharal on the first day. So note that what is the Most High charging his children with? He's charging them with the words of Moshe, who would also be a Christ, right? Anointed, because Christ is an English word that comes from the Hebraic word meaning anointed, right? So, and it says, which that word is Messiah, right? So, a Messiah means an anointed one, and then in the English or the New Testament, it was turned into Christ, right? So, verse 2, and it says, on the first day of the 7th month, Ezra the priest brought the teachings before the congregation, men and women, and all who could listen with understanding. Listen with understanding. He says, he read from it facing the square before the water gate from the first light until midday, to the men and to the women and those who could understand. The ears of all the people were given to the scroll of the teaching. Verse 4, Ezra the scribe stood upon the wooden tower made for the purpose, and beside him stood Mattaniah, Shema, Ananiah, Uriah, Hilkiah, and Maaseh at his right, and at his left hand, Pedaiah, Mishael, Malchijah, Hashem, Hashbadana, Zechariah, right? Muslim. Ezra opened the scroll. So what was the scroll? The scroll was the Torah. Anytime they're referencing the books of Moshe, they're speaking only of the Torah. And it says, in the sight of all the people, for he was above all the people, he opened it, and all the people stood. In verse 6, Ezra, Baraka the Most High, and great creator of all the people, answered, Amen, Amen, with hands upraised. Then they bowed their heads and prostrated themselves before the Most High, with their faces to the ground, not to Ezra, not to any man. Joshua or Yeshua, Bani, Shebiah, Yaman, Akab, Shabbatiah, Hadiah, Messiah, Kalithia, Azariah, Jozabad, Hanan, Peliah, and the Levites explained the teachings to the people while the people stood in the place. They read from the scroll of the teaching of the Most High, translating it and giving the sense so they understood the reading. That's most important. It's telling you that most people, one, did not have the scroll, didn't read for themselves. They had the teacher, which was Ezra, the scribe, and then there were the Levites and others that broke it down so that they could understand what the Most High is saying in the 5 books of Moses. No other, the 5 books of Moses, which entails Leviticus, our lifestyle, and how we're supposed to live, and who we're supposed to give praise and honor to. Let's go to Jeremiah 13 now. So when we understand, when the Most High made a decree, prophesied that Cyrus would allow us to come back and build our temple. We are scattered across the 4 corners. This was not the second Exodus. This was a return to home. And in that prophecy, Cyrus understood his name was written in this book of scroll and that it would happen. This happens, he states it, we come back. Now we're all trying to come back to who we were, because guess what? They didn't follow the laws of the Most High since Samuel. They weren't following the Sabbath since Samuel. That's why they were brought into captivity. That's why they were dispersed. That's why they went horrible, because they wanted to follow all the laws of these newfound gods of the lands in which we've been in captivity. So when the Most High brought us back to his kingdom, he brought us back to his covenant and back to his law, which is what we are commanded to do in this day in order for us to be royal. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 13. Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 11. And it reads, "For as the loincloth clings close to the loins of a man," we're talking about your underwear. So the Most High is saying, as you put your drawers on, so I brought close to me the whole house of Yasharal and the whole house of Yehudah, declares the Most High, that they might be my people for fame and praise and splendor. I'm going to say it again. Declares the Most High, that they might be my people for fame, for praise and splendor. But they would not obey. They would choose other gods. They would choose the demigods and the deities of their capturers. Verse 12. "And spake the word to them, thus says the Most High of Yasharal, every jar should be filled with wine. And when they say to you, don't we know that every jar should be filled with wine, say to them, thus says the Most High, I'm going to fill with drunkenness all the inhabitants of the land, and the kings who sit on the throne of David, and the priests and the prophets, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem." So the Most High said he was going to make them all drunk because they did not follow him, give reverence to him, fear him, but wanted to fear some other entity, some other demigod. He says, I'm going to make you drunk. I'm going to put this stumbling block that you're going to think that these demigods is truly your God. But you're going to clearly know that they are not of me. I'm celestial. I created all things. I was never in the flesh, so I would never come to you in the flesh. I send my angels, my seraphim, my cherubim. I have levels of beings that I have created. I have treasures in his storehouse that man cannot possibly comprehend, from the Leviathan to the behemoth. And yet you would believe the lie, the drunkenness, that the Most High would come in his own flesh to be killed by man, and not even his own children, but a Gentile or people that was not a people. I see my brother Aaron is in the building. You would have to be drunk to believe that. You would have to have a stumbling block for you to believe that the creator of all things, that has so many celestial beings at his beck and call, and man at his beck and call, with 8 billion of us here, that he would feel the need to not only come to the flesh, even though he had been speaking to his chosen people that had a duty of perpetuating his word so that the rest of man would follow. You believe that he came in the flesh and allowed the other entities, the beasts of the field, to kill him as a symbolic message to you and a new covenant to you. You have to be drunk to believe that. Let's go to Isaiah 11. 11:11. Because my man brought up TVOI in Jamaica, Isaiah. So let's go to Isaiah 11:11. See what that has to say. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11. And it says, on that day, the Most High will apply his hand again to redeeming the other part of Yasharal from Assyria, as also from Egypt, Pathros, Nubia, Elam, Shinar, Hamath, and the coastlands. In that day, the Most High says that he's going to do that. Was, if I correctly remember, 3,000 years ago when they believed that this entity came in, he said he came for the lost sheep, but he didn't go to Egypt, Pathros, Nubia, Elam, Shinar, Hamath, or the coastlands. In their story, he went from Nazareth to Jerusalem. He was killed. Didn't set free any of these nations. In that day, the Most High will apply his hand. You all say that that's his hand, that that's the Most High, to redeeming the other part of his people of Assyria, Egypt. So this was done because the children left from Assyria. Children left from Egypt. They left from Shinar and Hamath. But no man did it. No Christ did it. Verse 12. He will hold up a signal to the nations and assemble the banished of Yasharal and gather the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth. The Most High says that he's going to do that. At no time in their New Testament did their Christ say that he could do such. He said he could only do what his Father said. He also said that he didn't come to replace not one tittle of the law or the words of the prophets. Let's go to Isaiah 66. Isaiah 66, verse 23. It says, for as the new heaven and the new earth, which I will make, shall endure my will, thus says the Most High, so shall your seed and your name endure. And new moon after new moon and Sabbath after Sabbath, all flesh shall come to worship me. Do you believe that they're going to be worshiping and saying Jesus? The Most High has a celestial name, Shaddai. The Most High has a name, Ahaya. It is not the English Jesus or the Aramaic Muhammad or the Judean or the Khazarian Messiah. None of the above. Not a Chongo, not an Osiris, not an Enki, not an Enlil, not a Marduk, not a Saigon. None of them. You think that when all these people are going to be coming in and praising the Most High, that they're going to use some earthly name? Most High says he's going to put a new covenant on our heart, our minds. It's not going to be a word a man knows. Surely won't be one that was created and transliterated. Most High, verse 22, Isaiah chapter 66, for as the new heaven and the new earth, which I will make. So the Most High is going to make a new heavens, new earth. And he said he's going to bring his kingdom down to this earth. Not we were going up. No rapture. Shall endure my will, declares the Most High. So shall your seed and your name endure. Verse 23, and new moon after new moon and Sabbath after Sabbath, all flesh shall come and worship me, says Shaddai, Ahaya. Let's go to Ezekiel 25. See, in Ezekiel 25 may help some people when they hear this. It may sound a little rough, but it's the Most High word. It says, Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 14, it says, I will wreak my vengeance on Edom through my people Yasharal, and they shall take action against Edom in accordance with my blazing anger, and they shall know my vengeance, declares the Most High. Now, we all know that Edom is the Vatican, and the Vatican gave you Jesus. So, as you asked me, TVOI in Jamaica, about Christ as being a Davidic king, no. It is an Edom king. Jesus is an Edomite king because Edom was known as Esau, and your Jesus' original name is Isusus. And just so happens that before it was Jesus Christ and it was Isusus, that the sus in Greek stands for swine, pig. I don't think in any form of fashion, since the Most High said that swine is an absolute abomination, that he will come to this earth and his name will be associated in any sense of the manner with pig, swine. So our 43 kings and queens were listed and are listed. All you have to do is a quick Google search. And you'll understand that Esau, Isusus, one and the same, and that is Edom. And the Most High has clearly told us in Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 14, that he's going to declare and wreck shop to Catholicism, Christianity, and all of its offshoots of Baptist, Seventh-day Adventist, Presbyterian. You call it what you want. Yep. Esau is definitely the king of this land because this land is a Christian, Judeo-Christian nation. That's not an oxymoron. See, the Most High said that he would use Yasharal to destroy, as it says here. Let's read it again because I don't want you guys to think that I'm misquoting or I'm exaggerating. Ezekiel 25, verse 14, I will wreak my vengeance on Edom through my people, Yasharal, and they shall take action against Edom in accordance with my blazing anger. So that means that we can't possibly be together. So Judeo and Christian, if they were truly Jews, could not be with Christianity because Christianity moves the Sabbath to their Sunday and moves it from the Most High to Jesus. So the Most High says, I'm going to use my people to wreck that very concept, that very understanding. So when I tell people that the Old Testament and New Testament is a direct contradiction, here in Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 14, it outlines to you that it's a direct contradiction, that Edom is the Vatican, and you can Google that as well. So he's going to use us to wreck them. So there can't not be a Judeo-Christian nation, and we cannot be in cahoots with the Christian nation or the Judean nation because they do not give to his law. The Khazarians want to bring in a Noahide law, not the Mosaic law. The Most High said that the Mosaic law is his law. Let's go to Jeremiah 31. We're almost out of here. Jeremiah 31. I thought I had too many scripts to make it within an hour, but the Most High is definitely pushing me through. So Jeremiah 31, verse 30. And it reads, but everyone shall die for his own sins. Whoever eats your grapes, his teeth shall be blunted. See, a time is coming, declares the Most High, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Yasharal and the house of Yehudah, not with Gentiles. It will not be like the covenant I made with their fathers when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, a covenant which they broke. Though I espoused them, declares the Most High, but such is the covenant I will make with the house of Yasharal after these days, declares the Most High. I will put my teachings into their innermost being and inscribe it upon their hearts. Then I will be their creator, and they shall be my people. No man, no church, no doctrine of a New Testament, but the fact that the Most High is going to wake you up when you hear these words, when you see these words, it will resonate with you, and you will understand that there is nothing else but the Most High. There is no other demigod that you shall praise to, worship, or give anything unto. You will build on top of that understanding, on his law and that understanding. We live royal. Our royalty have been now bestowed back upon us, that those dry bones that Ezekiel spoke about are now coming together. We are now taking the breath of the four winds and accepting the Most High's new covenant. He said he will have a covenant with Yasharal and Yaakov, not Romans, not Esau, not Edom, not the Vatican. So they cannot have a New Testament. It's impossible by the Most High's words. But more important, what we're discussing right now is that they told you that this person died for their sins. But right here, the Most High says every man is going to be judged for his sins. Not his father's sins, not his mother's sins, not his grandfather's, but his. He says, I will put my teachings into their innermost being and inscribe it upon their hearts. Then I will be their creator, and they shall be my people. Verse 34, no longer will they need to teach one another and say to one another, heed the Most High. For all of them, from the least of them to the greatest, shall heed me, declares the Most High. How do you think that's going to happen? There's going to be a lot of people going to die. And that rapture that they speak about, that 2/3 that the Most High says is going to be gone. And the ones that's here that y'all think are the ones that's left behind, that's has nothing. The kingdom's coming here, my people. The Most High said that our name would endure through the millennia. Our children, our standing on his business is going to have the kingdom come unto us and the Most High unto us. And we will partake in this beautiful kingdom together. And David is going to be our king. If you don't believe that, I guess you want to believe that aliens going to come down, and you want to believe it's black God that's coming down, and they're going to kill all the white people. I guess that's what y'all want to believe, right? That's a new hot topic, right? Just for all of them, from the least of them to the greatest, shall heed me, declares the Most High. For I will forgive their iniquities and remember their sins no more. So that's the salvation we're talking about, right? The only person that can forgive our sins, the only one that can ignore it. Verse 35, thus says the Most High, who established the sun for light by day and the law of the moon and the stars for light by night, who stirs up the sea into roaring waves, whose name is the Most High host, the army. If these laws should ever be annulled by me, declares the Most High, only then would the offspring of Yasharal cease to be a nation before me for all time. So the Most High said, even though you're not claiming your royalty, it's still in place. The Most High says that until the law of the moon coming and going, and the sun coming and going, and the stars for light by night, until then, that's only when, if that stops, will you cease to be a nation. So yes, we are still a nation. Whether we have a kingdom or not, whether we got David here or not, whether we got our own leaders that have risen, if we're still under captivity, we are still a nation. Will you claim your royalty? Will you act in your royalty? Will you sacrifice your flesh to be royal? Will you stop being drunken and following the world and follow the Most High and His law, His Torah, His Tanakh? Let's go to Jeremiah 3, our second to last one. Jeremiah 3, and we're going to verse 16. 16 through 18. Jeremiah chapter 3, verses 16 through 18. It says, and when you increase and are fertile in the land, in those days, declares the Most High, men shall no longer speak of the ark of the covenant of the Most High, nor shall it come to mind. They shall not mention it or miss it or make another. At that time they shall call Jerusalem throne of the Most High, and all nations shall assemble there in the name of the Most High at Jerusalem. They shall no longer follow the willfulness of their evil hearts. In those days, the house of Yehudah shall go with the house of Yasharal. They shall come together from the land of the North America. I just shot that in there. But from the land of the north to the land I gave your fathers as a possession. So this is saying at the end times, Most High said that Yasharal and Yehudah is going to come together after we've been fighting against each other, hating against each other. And we're going to come together and leave out of the north land that we're in. And it says, the land that our fathers possessed. Our last one for the night, Jeremiah 30, verse 3. Walk in your royalty. Know who you are. I don't care what other people are saying. I don't care what the world is drunk. The world is full of, bringing it full circle to like I said, the documentary that I watched on the Sultan of Brunei, right? Brunei, which is right in between Malaysia and Indonesia in Southeast Asia, and how rich they are as a people and how they are under the law of the Quran, and that their sultan makes the laws of the land to reflect their spiritual walk and how peaceful it is there and how rich they are there. And I liken that to our kingdom, because understand in the Quran, the 5 books of Moses are in there. Understand that many of the prophets from our Tanakh is in theirs before they get to the Muhammad, which is their New Testament. Know that the Most High has us, that we are royal, and we have to choose it. We have to live it, and He's going to make sure that we have it even in our captivity. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 3. For days are coming, declares the Most High Shaddai, when I will restore the fortunes of my people, Yasharal and Yehudah, said the Most High, and I will bring them back from the land that I gave their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these are the words that the Most High spoke concerning Yasharal and Yehudah. To be in that number that's going to go back into that land, you're going to have to be as Ezra did, reading the word of Moshe and following the law of Moses. That is what we speak on here. We speak on Jacob's trouble. We speak on following the Old Testament or the Torah, the Tanakh. That is our guiding light. We put no middleman and no middle doctrine in between us and our Creator, us in the royalty of our Creator. All praise unto the Most High, man. I will see you guys on Shabbat and TVOI Jamaica. If you're still in here, man, I'll read over that Isaiah 53, but let me know what specific part you're talking about when he says who he's talking about in Isaiah 53. So I hope you're not talking about Emmanuel, because I can answer that quick. He ain't talking about the one y'all talking about. Facts. But other than that, all praise unto the Most High. Talk to y'all soon on Friday. Shabbat shalom. Shalom.